So anytime a government agency votes on regulatory changes, especially sweeping regulatory changes, Congress has 60 days to basically nullify that vote using their authority under the Congressional Review Act. Now, last week we talked about this and how 40 senators decided to co-sponsor a bill that would in fact nullify the FCC's repeal of net neutrality on December 14th. So we focused on Democrats, and I am now happy to report that every single Democrat in the Senate is now on board because of you making those calls, because of your activism, because of the continued pressure that you are putting on the party. You got them to buckle, and now every single Democrat in the Senate is supporting a bill that would nullify the FCC's vote. Now, all we need now is just one more Republican, and guess what? That vote is nullified, at least in the Senate. But to get to the story itself, first of all, Brian Fung of the Chicago Tribune reports 50 Senate lawmakers have endorsed a legislative measure to override the Federal Communications Commission's recent decision to deregulate the broadband industry, top Democrats said Monday. The tally leaves supporters just one vote shy of the 51 required to pass a Senate resolution of disapproval in a legislative gambit aimed at restoring the agency's net neutrality rules. The resolution aims to overturn the FCC's decision and prohibit the agency from passing similar measures in the future. It has the support of all 49 Democratic senators as well as one Republican, Senator Susan Collins of Maine. To win passage of the resolution, its supporters must recruit one more Republican member to their ranks, but the measure must survive the Republican majority House and be signed by President Donald Trump to take effect. After an independent agency makes a decision, such as the FCC's net neutrality deregulation, federal lawmakers have a window of 60 legislative days to reverse the move under the Congressional Review Act. As of last Tuesday, 40 senators had signed onto the resolution to challenge the FCC under the act. Since then, another 10 have joined the effort. So at this point, they're going to vote on this. That's a sure bet. They're going to vote on this, and Mike Pence at this point would cast the tie-breaking vote if it is in fact 50-50. Now, we all know what Mike Pence is going to do. He's probably going to vote against it, which means it would die in the Senate. But ideally, what we want to happen is for this to pass in the Senate so it moves on to the House and generates a lot of press coverage. And if it actually does get to Donald Trump's desk, even if he vetoes it, that still garners a tremendous amount of press coverage. It makes Donald Trump take a position on this, because up until this point, he's been silent on the FCC's repeal of net neutrality. I mean, he's signaled to Ajit Pai that he's okay with whatever, but he hasn't taken a strong stance, which is what a president should do in this situation. So here's what we have to do now. Since we need just one more Republican, we need someone who's on the fence, someone who is easily swayable. And even though Lisa Murkowski is a Republican senator from Alaska that came out against the FCC's reclassification of the internet as a utility under Title II in 2015, well, back in December, her office actually told the Daily News Miner that they were undecided as to whether or not she would support Ajit Pai's vote. Now, she said this on December 2nd. He then went on, as you all know, to vote to repeal net neutrality on the 14th of December. So we don't have any more updates. So as far as we know, Lisa Murkowski is still undecided. She's someone who we might be able to persuade. So we have to call her and let her know what's at stake. This is something that is incredibly unpopular, not just among Democrats, but your own party, Lisa. So I'm going to give you all of her office numbers. I think we can't just call her DC office. We have to make sure that we make the biggest impact possible. And if we all call different offices, I think collectively this will get her attention. So her DC office number is 202-224-6665. Her Soldotna number is 907-262-4220. Her Ketchikan number is 907-225-6880. Her Juneau office number is 907-586-7277. And her Anchorage office number is 907-271-3735. So I'm going to call hopefully a couple of these depending on how much time I have, but certainly I'll call her DC office number. And I'm going to try to be brief and as concise as possible, but no promises.
Hello, this is Senator Lisa Murkowski. Thank you for your call. For information about my office locations and hours of operation, please press 1. Know that I appreciate that you're taking the time to share your thoughts with me on the issues that are important to you. If you are an Alaska resident and would like a response to your concerns, please leave your name, address, and phone number. Please press 2 for this option. You can also leave me an email on my website at www.
I'm just going to press 2.
Thank you for calling our Washington, D.C. office. We appreciate you sharing your comments. Please leave a message.
Hi, I'm just calling to encourage Senator Murkowski to sign on to the Congressional Review Act to nullify the FCC's vote to repeal net neutrality on December 14th. So far, all 50 Democrats have signed on to this bill, and her colleague, Susan Collins, also signed on to this. Now, I know that she was undecided, but this is an issue that the overwhelming majority of the American people want Lisa Murkowski to get on board with. A majority of Republicans do not support the FCC's repeal of net neutrality, so Lisa Murkowski can represent her constituents and the people of America well if she signs on to the Congressional Review Act to nullify the FCC's vote. So please do this. Thank you. Okay, I think I'll call Juno now.
Senator Lisa Murkowski's office. How may I help you?
Hi, I just wanted to call to encourage Senator Murkowski to co-sponsor the Congressional Review Act bill in the Senate that would nullify the FCC's vote to repeal net neutrality.
Okay.
This is something that has already garnered 50 co-sponsors, including one Republican, Susan Collins of Maine, and a majority of Republicans are against this. So I'm hoping that the senator would take the correct approach to this and do the right thing.
Okay, is that all your message for the senator?
That's it.
Okay, I will push that forward.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep, have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Okay, so that was Anchorage. Wait. Okay, that was Anchorage. I don't know if I said I was going to call Juno, but I'm going to call Juno now.
Thank you for contacting the Juneau District Office of Senator Lisa Murkowski and Senator Dan Sullivan. Sorry to have missed your call. Please leave your name and telephone number, and I will call you back as soon as possible. If you'd like to leave an opinion message for the senators, you can do so here, and please leave your name and your mailing address along with your message, or you can go to the websites at www.murkowski.senate.gov and www.sullivan.senate.gov. Thank you very much.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, simply hang up or press pound for further options.
Hi, I'm just calling to encourage Senator Lisa Murkowski and also Dan Sullivan to sign on to the bill in the Senate that would use the authority granted to them under the Congressional Review Act to nullify the FCC's recent vote to repeal Title II net neutrality protections. I know that Senator Lisa Murkowski, at least, was undecided before the FCC made this vote, and this is something that we would greatly appreciate if she got on board with, because the overwhelming majority of American citizens, including Republicans, do not support what the FCC just did. This bill already has 51 co-sponsors, 50 Democrats, and one Republican, her colleague, Susan Collins. So I would highly encourage and appreciate if Lisa Murkowski represented us and signed on to this bill to make sure that it passes and goes on to the House. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you have time, call every single office from her. I really feel as though she is the one person who maybe we can bring onto our side, but if you think someone's better, call them as well. We need all hands on deck, and we need everyone to get involved. And again, if we fail with this, it's going to go on through the courts, but let's do everything in our power to make sure that we save net neutrality.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.